So when I finally decided that I'm going to be the one to apply, now the jobs did not come. Hi everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. I am very glad to be here to share this testimony about how God gave me a job after about 1 year and 8 months. And I am more than encouraged, especially in this season, to share it because I know that there is someone that needs to hear this so that their faith can also grow in trusting God. So yeah, basically my situation before I was unemployed was that I was working in TikTok, like I gave a testimony before, if you remember. I quit TikTok. And why was that? I was going through a lot of like personal stuffs and spiritual perspective of it, where I prayed and I felt like God was telling me to quit my job, right? So after doing that, I was so much searching for God. I didn't even ask God, honestly, okay, now that I'm quitting my job, so what's the next move? The only thing I knew though after was that I was supposed to do like more of YouTube videos, which you saw me like doing then. In fact, I quit my job around October 2023, and then I started doing like my YouTube videos around ending of November, December of that 2023. So after I have started doing the videos, I kept going, and I was also like sometimes studying. I was serving God as much as I can, but at a point I was like, so God, what's next? What is happening? Because right now finances are going more down and down. So God was keep telling me, I will give you a job, and I'll not just give you any job, I'll give you a really, really good job with really, really good paying, with like really, really good pay. So because of that, the way it usually used to come when God speaks to me about my job, it used to feel so personal, so unique, so beautiful that it was in that season. I genuinely know that there were like 3-4 places that they called me, let's say in January 2024, February, March, and they asked me like, hey, are you interested in this job? And most of them were like customer support, and I couldn't take them. So, and it felt like I was overdoing myself, right? When I was telling, let's say, some people, they were like, Abba, you are not serious. How can you not take a job? Don't you know that you're unemployed? So yeah, by God's grace, I was having my savings, because at a point I was actually doing 2 jobs. Before then, before I was working in TikTok, I was also working like in one other company. So I have a couple of savings that actually helped us, because my sister then also came in October. From October till up to May, we were good. But of course, that anxiety of not knowing when am I getting a job, how am I going to sustain myself after the savings and everything I've done was there. So after some time, actually, I stopped myself from just waiting on jobs and trusting only God, but simply like trying to apply and see what comes out. So when I finally decided that I'm going to be the one to apply, now the jobs did not come. And when it did not come, by God's grace, my sister got a job, but that was also like April. So she was supposed to start her job, especially the day we were supposed to get out of an apartment that we were renting. So after that, we did not have a thing again to live on. So that's how God, by his sovereignty, he helped us to get a job through her that was able to sustain us. But again, let's talk about, I'm still looking for my own personal job. So May continued, June came, nothing happening. And at a point, because as like I said, I was rejecting some jobs. So at a point I was like, maybe my standard is too high and I might miss out. And truly, some people have been advising me, but just at least for now, be taking one job and just wait for others. Also, when they come, you'll be able to get that job that you're looking for. Because also, I was specific on the fact that it has to be in digital marketing. So now, I, at a point, lost everything about waiting for a job. I applied. In fact, now the customer support job that I've been rejecting, I started looking for them. They did not come. I started planning like, okay, maybe I might even start going to McDonald's at a point. I'll try to look for different jobs. Hey, the jobs did not come. So now I decided, like, what am I going to do? I was only serving God actually. In that season, I served God. I was like in my church, like choir. I was in what we call GWS. I was also like, I volunteered to be like their content strategist. And also I was in the running choir that really also was so much a part of me. And I think without knowing, I was using that time because I was like all over the place doing a lot of things. I also felt like probably God will definitely remember through all that, and he will remember me and give me a job. But that did not stop that season. And every time I go to pray, God will tell me that I'll give you a job. And that job, I don't see it. I don't even have words, because let's talk about it. I just finished my master's, because 2023 is the time I finished my master's. So I just finished my master's and I don't have a job, and I'm in a foreign country. At the moment, I cannot even say like I'm going to plan to like just right away go home. So I was like literally stuck. It was only God to come and intervene. All my hope got lost. I used to, at a point, I even almost like stopped praying, because when I used to pray and God would tell me that He would give me a job, I was like, God, are you serious? It's been a year. I've been looking for a job. Now we haven't talked about the other 8 months. But I will pray. I'll still continually to go in the presence of God. It was so difficult, because there actually I grew spiritually. I would say God was helping me out to learn to keep on depending on Him even when I don't see it. So I used to go to church, and I remember one specific couple that I used to look at in the church, and I'm like, these people, if they can continually to serve God when God has not given them this particular need that everybody knows that they need, then they're not stupid, right? They're not stupid. So that's how I was able to actually stay in church, to stay in the presence of God, because at a point I was so pulled down. And also be mindful that I have a fiance then. We're planning to get married. We dated like 2023 December, and we planned that after 1 year and 5 months, we have to get married. Like we planned, that was our plan. So now we're talking about a person that is planning to get married, because 1 year has passed. I was still in a relationship with him, but we have like 5 months more to go, and there is nothing that is coming out. Now, my family members, they called me and they're like, hey, we know somebody that help you to get a job in a factory so that you can be working, at least to be able to even help your processing of your documents then. So I decided to go ahead. We tried to find the number, but with that person, it didn't work, interestingly. And then I heard from one of my friends then that she have gotten a place where she sold jobs. So we went there, and it was a place called Intercars. For anybody that have been in Poland, in Warsaw, please write it down if you have ever been there. I went for a trial. After looking at a place, I was like, this place looks totally different from what I usually see every day in my Bible. I was so pulled down. I knew that if I work here, I might die, because first of all, I have a back pain, and they ask you to work up to like 12 hours. It was a little bit even outside of Warsaw, so that means that now I need to even start finding like their own accommodation, and my sister too is like in her accommodation in Warsaw, so it was a lot going on. And then I'm also looking at me and my fiance like, okay, how are we going to put ourselves together to meet up and everything? So I just knew that this was not going to work. So after getting out of there, I was with my friend and I was telling her that, hey, what I've seen, and if we need to do a 330 days dry fasting, we need to, but we cannot work here. Because I also felt the helplessness of the people that were working there. And honestly, for me, I just felt like I can't do it. This place, I cannot do it. So it encouraged me, interestingly, to go to God, to ask him this time, like, God, seriously, with all of my heart, I did a 3 days prayer and fasting, only asking God, like, God, please give me a direction. What am I supposed to do to be able to get a job? And then God gave me a couple of lists of things. One was that I need to like reduce the number of activities that I'm doing. And then also I needed to do one certificate that I was actually working on, that even my husband used to ask me, then he was my fiance, then he used to ask me like, hey, how far with this certificate? And I'll be like, I'm through with it. It's just there, but not like, I wasn't finishing. I used to like start a lot of like certification and I never like ended. And God really told me about that one certification. And another thing that God told me, my sister, because she used to give me allowance every month. So God told me that one also, I should stop receiving the allowance. And to receive that, what I understood that God was trying to do was to trust him. First of all, some of the activities that I was doing, it was more like a means of bribing God that, God, you can see that I'm doing the work, right? So now that I'm doing the work, you gotta do one or two things. Because I didn't know that some of my motives were wrong. That's what I learned. And secondly, when it comes to the allowance as well, I have so much dependent on my sister that I didn't know that, though I was praying, but when it comes to provision, my heart was that somehow, somewhere, I am provided for, because she really used to give me like really good and big amount of allowance then. And then when it came to the certification, I was looking for a job in digital marketing and I did not have enough skills to do the job. So I needed to upgrade. So by God's grace, I was able to obey all of them. I didn't do all of them like once and for all. It took a bit of few days of obedience. So I started by like some of the activities that I was doing. I quit some of the choir. I also stopped going because every time I was occupied. By the time I'm about to study or do other things, I was already exhausted. So that's how the days were going. So I stopped, and then for the allowance, I also was not getting it again. And then I started going for the library, because also when I was always at home, I would be distracted. So I decided to start going to the library every single day and be studying there. And I would go like somebody that already has a job. Like I would go something around 10. By 10, I might be there. And then I'll finish around 6. And I'll go like with my lunch, like somebody that is going for work. But it was a beautiful moment, because that moment really, I felt like God was with me. So I started doing it. 1 week passed, 2 weeks passed. And I was also like looking at that my certificate, like moving forward with it. It was like a Google certificate anyway, and it was actually free. So I did. After some time, I started getting calls from one of the job fair that I actually went to, they said, hey, we have seen your application in your application in our system, and we want to ask you if you're interested. And the job was like my current job right now, which was like digital executive, and it was in digital marketing. So when I saw it, I was not, first of all, super triggered, because one thing I was not able to mention was that my residence card at a point ended. So the moment I'm saying I'm trusting God was both, I don't have a residence card. I am a typical, by this country law, homeless, more or less. I don't have anything. I don't have legal stay. It's just that I have an accommodation. I have other things ongoing, but legally I should not be there. With some jobs that have actually rejected me because they saw that my stay was quite short, and I have also finished my school, I wasn't fully triggered. The first of their interview was about asking me about my documentation. So I told them how my situation is, because then I already sent my documents actually by post, and I was praying and asking God that, God, let these people call me for my fingerprint only when I've gotten a job. So it's been up to like 3-4 months. They haven't called me for my fingerprint, and that's when those people are calling. So I told them that I have sent my documents, but I am waiting for my fingerprint. And also be mindful that the time of my fingerprint was supposed to come when I also have a proper reason to be staying in that country. So yeah, now continuing, they said no problem, we can proceed. When they told me that I was on the side of the metro station, I literally cried. One black guy, he saw me out of the blue, and he was like, why are you crying? Like, me too, I'm like, sorry, I cannot help myself. But it was like the tears of joy. And I was actually going to the library because they were calling me while I'm still like just in my mode of obeying God and do other things. Now, they gave me one project to do first. I got scared at first. And I was trying to first of all think, oh my God, who are the best people to do this so-called project? And I remember then my dad, but then the Holy Spirit was like, you need to trust me. That's how my dad was moved away. And then I also thought of my sister, like one of my other sister. And the time we planned to do that project, to look at it together, she slept off. She slept off the whole night, and I was supposed to actually submit it in the morning. So I was put in a position where I had to do that project all by myself. And truly, even now, when I look at that project, I look at it and I'm like, this was the finger of God that helped me. Now, after the project, they said it's good. I continued the second interview. It was good. And I did also the third interview. Now, this third interview was with a French person who is from France. And I'm like, my French, I don't know if it's ready to be able to go through. But this person made me so calm, so relaxed, that I was able to speak all of my mind. But I also knew that it was really God that was helping me out. And another interesting thing maybe I might remember when it comes to my interview was how they asked me like, how will you be able to do this job? It's been almost like 1 year and 8 months. You are not even unemployed and you haven't even worked in this field. And I answered them that imagine that in 1 year and 8 months, I have never stopped applying. Why do you think I would give up on learning about this job and be able to do it? Wasn't it the truth? Yes. But do you think I was able to think that that would make sense for me to be able to be admitted for a job? No. It was God that had made a way. So even in those truths, God was able to make a way for me to get that job. So yeah, by God's grace, yeah, I finally got the offer letter. I was very happy, very, very happy. Oh my God. The kind of joy I was having, I first of all cried. I praised God. Then finally, after like 3-4 hours, that's when I remembered people one by one that I needed to do, that I know that they cared for my job, telling them about the news. So now, entering into the job, God has been very faithful. what I learned was that God wanted me to be going to the library to study every day, just to build a capacity of me to learn, because in my job I have to learn. So if I didn't have that prior experience, even the job I was asking for, I'll not be able to do it. The second thing, I found purpose. It's a place where I can express myself. I love to sing, so I can sing for people. We had like some culture there. I was able to to participate. And also, looking at even one of the person that was helping me, he's usually from my choir, and we work like in the same company. So it was the pianist. He's like in the same company. Like, who does that? It was only God that could have orchestrated that. And the people that are there, like, the environment is so beautiful. It could only have been God. It could only have been God. And maybe 2, 3, 4 things that have helped me too that I almost forgot was that before I got my job, maybe 3, 4 weeks ago, I joined Hallelujah Challenge by Nathaniel Bassi, and I was trusting God with Dress Like Your Miracle. So I didn't even know that it would work, but I know that was a part of my breakthrough. And second thing too, I was while I was going to the library, I was giving myself affirmations every single day that, Abba, you are good, you are not rejected, you are accepted, you are confident, you are every positive thing. Because really my confidence had been crushed. And because of the spirit of rejection, it was difficult to believe that I can get a job. But God, in those times of going into the front of mirror and saying those words, it was my pastor actually that used to teach us often about that. I don't know how I remembered and I decided to do it. It helped me a lot, like a lot. And secondly was to stop listening to people, but really focus on hearing God. Like, at a point, stop hearing people's experience and just hear God's, what he wants you to do, or the things that he decided to tell you. Because God's voice too, it feels like maybe you didn't mean it, but when you obey it, it just works for you. So that's really for me. I hope it has encouraged you, and also I will see you next time. Have a wonderful time. Bye bye.